Hi everyone, Critical Miss here with my very first movie review online. That is a video, I should say. So I will be reviewing Transformers 4 Age of Extinction that I saw opening weekend, and I am doing this for Capital Geek Girls Blogspot. So yes. When they asked me to do this review, I said, yeah, absolutely, why not? Because I'm a very positive moviegoer. I really enjoy finding the good things in movies, and I was excited about this because there was a lot about the other Transformers movies that I really did enjoy. I really enjoyed one. I really enjoyed three. There was parts about two that I really enjoyed. So it's good. It's fun summer stuff. Unplug your brain, eat your popcorn, that sort of stuff. And I was excited. So, I went into Transformers 4 waiting to be impressed. Now, I would just like to say before I go on that there will be spoilers in this review, and I am talking as if you have seen the movie already. So if you don't want spoilers or you don't want to hear about how the movie goes along, then turn off the video, and if you don't care, then please feel free to tag along. So I broke up my review into two different sections. I broke it up into things that I didn't like and things that I did like. So I'm going to start with the things that I didn't like so that I could end on the things that I did like with a nice little positive note. So first off, I just felt that it was too long. It really needed editing. There was a lot of times where I was sitting there in the theater with my face in my hand and just wondering when we were going to move on with the story, and there was a lot of superfluous action that just didn't need to be there. Now, there are a lot of people online, other reviewers, that have said that they felt like it was more than one movie, and I definitely agree. That, there's the first half of the movie where they're on the run, they're in hiding, that sort of thing, and then there's the part with Lockdown at the end, which, while I really enjoyed the character of Lockdown, I just didn't feel like they executed his whole storyline as well. Like, that could have been a whole movie on its own. Now I have all my notes here. Now, it also felt like my husband Retro Jode also thought about this, was that it really felt like they were introducing things in the movie and then forgetting about them. They were happening and then, oh, okay, this is cool, and then it just didn't happen anymore. Case in point, at the end fight, they're all fighting and all that kind of stuff, and then Megatron slash Galvatron, he just shows up at the end of the movie and he's like, I'm gonna get you, Autobots, and then where was he during the entire fight? Megatron is a fighter, and he needs to get Optimus. That's a lot of his main goals. So the fact that he wasn't even in the fight, that he just seemed like he was just watching from a mountaintop in China, that was a bit weird. Another thing, Kelsey Grammer. Now, Kelsey Grammer, they have this great actor and everything, and again, it was the same thing. They're all getting evacuated and things like that, and he's there, and then all of a sudden they have this whole sort of chase scene. We don't really think about him, and then, oh yeah, we have Kelsey Grammer, we need to bring him back. So he's there, and then he's angry, and then he's threatening the Mark Wahlberg character, and he comes back, and then Optimus basically blows him away, which I also wasn't too keen on. It just didn't feel true. I mean, yes, Optimus was protecting Jaeger, but still, it just felt a little weird that he would just blow him away. So it's, they threw Kelsey Grammer back there. Another one is the Transformium transformations with the new Transformers that Stanley Tucci's company was building. They had these really awesome transformations, really cool to look at, but then they just stopped. At the end fight, the Autobots are just, destroying them, and then they're not doing it anymore. So it just felt like, oh, okay, well, we're not gonna deal with that anymore. So they just didn't really handle it. So there was those kinds of things. I just felt like Michael Bay, I love Michael Bay stuff with the explosions and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's great summertime movie, unplug your brain, that kind of stuff. But I just felt like we went with a friend of ours as well, and he felt the same thing, was that it felt like there were too many explosions. All of the big explosions that were happening at the end in China just felt sort of diminished and lacked impact because of all of the explosions that had led up to that point. It almost felt like Michael Bay was making a parody of himself in that respect. So, you don't need as many explosions for it to have that impact, because it would have been a lot cooler and a lot better at the end had it not been followed up with all of these explosions before. Now, one other thing that I didn't, that I could have done without, and usually I am pretty forgiving about the comic relief and everything, is the Lucas friend at the beginning of the movie, Yeager's friend Lucas. I just felt a lot of his dialogue was really forced, or, and that's not the actor's fault. It just felt like they were trying too hard for this guy to be funny. And, sure, I chuckled a little bit at a couple of things, but it just didn't ring true to me. So that character didn't really serve any purpose for me as a viewer. One thing that I really didn't like was Optimus's dialogue. I just felt that he had said it in a couple of other movies, you're gonna die this time, or things like that, but in this movie he was throwing around, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, I'll kill you all. That was the first thing he said when he transformed out of the old truck, and it really jarred me out of the movie. It just didn't ring true. And it's all well and good that they're trying to make him into this badass kind of new age robot and for a younger audience, but it just didn't, I don't know, it didn't work for me. And another thing that didn't work for me, like the Lucas part, is actually most of the funny stuff in the movie just felt like it was forced a little bit. Like, it just felt like it was too much. It was trying too hard. I didn't find that there was enough Dinobots. Age of Extinction leads you to believe that there's going to be more Dinobots than there actually was. That was one of the things that I'll talk about more when I'm talking about the things that I liked. But the Dinobots, it just felt like as we were going along, when are the Dinobots going to show up? When are they coming? And it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours, no Dinobots. And then finally at the end of the movie, the Dinobots show up and they're awesome, but there's not enough of them. And, it would have, I think, I don't know what Michael Bay's thoughts were on not making them talk, or making Grimlock at least say "me Grimlock" or something along those lines. I think it would have been really cool. I think it would have been awesome to have that kind of nostalgia to it, and it would have added to it. So I think that was missing a little bit. I felt, again, with the script, I felt that there was, my husband and I felt that there was a lot of sort of swearing. We're going to get these bitches and this and that. It just felt weird and out of place. It just, not something that we enjoyed. Another part that was a little weird was that they spent a lot of time talking about getting this bomb out of the city and driving around, getting in cars and going all over the place. And they spent all this time needing to get this seed bomb out of the city when they could have just put it in drift and he could have changed into a helicopter and flown away. So we're not really sure why they didn't do that. Maybe they were just hoping that people would forget. I don't know. But it was, why didn't they just do that? That would have been a lot easier. And, a lot of things about them walking around the spaceship for 20 minutes. Not really necessary. Yes, there were some cool parts, but let's get back to the action. We didn't need a sort of, hey, let's explore all of these places because we need to figure out what's going on. So, all in all, with the things that I didn't like, it was a lot of that. It was just too long, it needed editing, needed, tightening up, and it would have been a much more concise and much more enjoyable film. So on to the things that I did like. A lot of the actors. I actually really, I loved Kelsey Grammer, Stanley Tucci, Bing Lee, which is Stanley Tucci's assistant. She's a Chinese actress. She was really great. I liked Mark Wahlberg. Titus Welliver, he's usually an Irish bad guy. But he's a great character actor in everything that we see, and yeah, like we actually just watched him in Red 2, which, you know, was really good too. But the actors were really great. You know, Kelsey Grammer, very strong, always. You know, he's got a lot of gravitas, that he puts a lot of weight behind his character. So, you know, he's always enjoyable to watch on screen. Stanley Tucci, he was very, very fun. Stanley Tucci and Bing Lee had great chemistry together, and I was very happy that they didn't have them kiss, because they certainly led it up to that. You know, they had a moment where she saves him, and Bing Lee got a great like kick butt scene where she got to do some great martial arts stuff and whatnot, and she just, you know, puts him down and, you know, talk to the hand kind of thing. And then at the end, when all of this happens, she's running up to him and he says, did you miss me? And she said, no. You know, I in my heart I was like, no, please don't kiss, and they didn't, so it was great. I also didn't mind the daughter. I thought she was decent. I thought the actress was a believable 17-year-old, and the relationship between her and Shane was very believable all the way through. I didn't feel like it was pushed. It felt, you know, very real. The only part that I didn't like, which I didn't mention in the things I didn't like, was the cheesy kiss at the end. You know, are you still glad you met me? And then they kiss, and the sun sets between them, and I was like, you had me right up until that moment. So, but you know, for the most part, the actors were really, really good. Surprisingly enough, it passed the Bechdel test, I should say. And for those of you who may not know, the Bechdel test is the women's test for film and television. And what it is it means that there are at least two named women in the movie or TV that have a conversation with each other, not about a man. And the Sophia Myles character and Bing Lee's character have a conversation in the car with Stanley Tucci in the back about these seed bombs. So I was like, oh, okay, very cool. And actually, the Sophia Myles character, she was a biochemist, I think, but she was really strong as well. So there was quite a few female characters that I quite enjoyed in this movie, which is great. And the cinematography, you know what? Say what you want about Michael Bay, but he really knows how to create beautiful scenes on camera. He's got these really great, you know, slow-mo scenes and great sort of, you know, long sweeping shots, and he gets great vistas and great scenery and locations. So it's a really beautiful movie to watch. So that is definitely worth my ticket going into the theater as well. The Transformers looked great. You know, they all looked really, really fantastic. Really cool cars. Amazing transformations. The Optimus transformation, the first one, is amazing. That final sort of shift where he pushes the Autobot symbol through the metal at the end, it was really exhilarating, really, really cool. Made you just, you know, kind of pump your fists in the air. It was really cool. And I mentioned before that I really enjoyed the Dinobots. The Dinobots were awesome. They were amazing. They were really cool. They looked really different than the other Autobots, so that I really enjoyed, because it sort of gave their own feel to it as well. And my favorite part about the Autobots was their transformation, because they did this really cool sort of backwards rotating kind of transformation, which was neat, and I wanted to see more of that, which stems back to the fact that I wanted more Dinobots. Let's see where I'm at. Yes, okay, so I mentioned the Autobots, they looked great. We also really enjoyed the fact that Megatron, or Galvatron, as they were making him into Galvatron, but he kept shifting back into Megatron's look. Megatron was actually coordinating all of this, and he's actually the one in charge. They think that they've got control out of this, and it's actually Galvatron, but no, it's actually Megatron, and his features keep changing back into Megatron. So we thought that was a pretty cool pretty cool thing. Now, I really liked Lockdown. I thought he looked really neat. He had a different, again, he had a different look than everybody else, but he was kind of on his own. He was kind of a lone bounty hunter kind of a thing. And he did this really interesting, like, gun thing with his face. There you go, guys. Just in case you haven't seen the movie, that's what it felt like with my hands right there in the video. And that was awesome. I just felt like his part of the story just wasn't fully developed. It could have been a whole movie on its own. Was, Kelsey Grammer working with Lockdown and stuff like that. It could have been worked a little bit better. It just wasn't executed well. Fight sequences were great. The highway sequence where they're fighting Galvatron and Stinger was really, really exciting and really fun. And there was lots of transformations where they've got the humans in them, and they're flying through the air, they catch them, they're transforming back and stuff like that. So that was really, really, really exciting. All the fights in China, really, really cool as well. And Bumblebee, always a fan favorite. He was very funny. The whole scene between him hearing about how Stanley Tucci's company is saying how much better Stinger is than Bumblebee was very funny. The writers really capture Bumblebee's, sort of smart aleck speaking with his quotes and song lyrics and things like that. So that really worked quite well. The China setting, where they're in China, beautiful. Just really, really, really fantastic. It makes you want to go there and visit, because there's just beautiful, beautiful mountains and locales and scenery and stuff like that. So that was used very, very well in the movie. Oh, and also the fact that the voices were really good as well, because Frank Welker's back as Megatron / Galvatron. Obviously, Peter Cullen is Optimus. He is Optimus, so that is really great. John Goodman, awesome as Hound. We felt that maybe he should have been either called Bulkhead or Cup, just because of his look, because his bulk, sort of really just lent itself to Bulkhead, but he had like a beard and the stogie like Cup did, so we just didn't feel like Hound necessarily was the best name for him. But his voice, just John Goodman's voice, is really awesome to listen to, because he's got this really gravelly, deep voice, which works well for a Transformer of that nature. Let's see, was there anything else? I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to say here. I mean, on the whole, it's really hard, because the things that I didn't like kind of outweighed the things that I did. So if I was to put a star rating on this, I would probably say maybe a 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10. So it's definitely still worth it to see in the theater. Go and see it for the action scenes and the Transformers and the Dinobots. Go to the bathroom for the long parts that are, when they're searching around the spaceship, because not a lot happens there. So you have moments where you can deke out. Just don't leave during the Optimus transformation, because that was awesome. So, 5 out of 10. I think that's what I'm going to settle on. But definitely, if you can, even go see it on a cheapy Tuesday, so you're not paying, for the whole, for the whole amount. But it definitely still worth it. It's definitely still worth it to go see on the big screen, because that's the way the Transformers are meant to be seen, because they're huge. And so if you can see it in IMAX or in 3D or anything like that, the 3D was actually very good as well. I quite enjoyed the 3D, and I'm not usually a fan of 3D, but it worked very well. So thank you so much, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed my first review. Hopefully it will be the first of many. So if you liked it, please feel free to leave comments. And thank you so much, and I will see you at the movies.